If you have to travel, you will, I think, have to face the risk of having to self-quarantine for 14 days.
Today we are talking about travel, and more specifically, we're talking about getting away on one of these. Remember planes? Well, for most of us it seems like a faraway, distant memory. But with coronavirus cases in New York and across much of Europe still relatively low, many of us are thinking about a much needed, long overdue summer break. But here's the question. Is it really safe to travel? And if you do decide to get away, is getting on a plane really the issue? To find out more, I caught up with Forbes' Knapp.
Is it safe to get on a plane right now?
Well, it really kind of depends on what you're doing and how long you're flying. I personally wouldn't do an international flight right now, just because your risk of exposure to the virus increases the more time you're going to spend in a room with someone with the chance for those droplets and virus to circulate. If, however, you need to do a quick 2-hour jaunt, as long as the airline is maintaining social distancing, i.e. you don't have someone in the middle seat next to you, as long as everybody is masked, as long as that airline has some disinfection policies, that risk is probably pretty low. That said, me personally, I've extended my driving range. This is going to be the new normal, at least for a little while. And one thing, if you have to travel, you will, I think, have to face the risk of having to self-quarantine for 14 days, depending on where you're going. Even within the United States, for example, I'm here in Kansas City. I couldn't travel to New York right now without self-quarantine for 14 days before I could see anyone. So it probably wouldn't be worth my time to take a business trip or something like that. And I do think if you're thinking about traveling for the holidays or anything like that, you have to take into consideration that you may need to self-quarantine and make arrangements with your employer. A lot of us have been working from home, so hopefully, a lot of these people, if they're quarantining at home or at least have access to a laptop and the internet, can get some work done. But yeah, it's an extra risk to travel and something that you need to take into account.
Of course, you've been working from home for how many years now?
Close to 9 now, so I'm pretty used to it.
Seasoned expert.
There's one problem with vacations, and that's that they don't last forever. And eventually, we all have to go back to work. But in the coronavirus era, this presents a serious problem that we all need to take a careful look at. Right now, there are hundreds of thousands of British tourists in Spain who found during the course of their vacation that they now have to quarantine when they return home. And while that might sound like just another 2 weeks of lockdown at home, this presents a serious problem for the thousands of us that are trying to keep businesses moving and keep people in employment. This is really a taste of probably the new normal when it comes to travel. But I hope for millions of you out there, it still means that we can enjoy our summer vacations, even if it does mean taking a small risk.